I mean, you.
Hi, Chris.
How are you?
Good.
That's good.
Hmm. Is this meeting coming to an end yet?
I'm not sure because I was expecting Kate to be here.
Right. Um,
Yeah, let's wait for a few minutes.
I know they sent out a review message.
I saw those two, yeah, because I think Roxanne may be sick, so she may be
Mm,
out. Yeah.
I'll give them a few minutes.
Okay.
How are we doing?
Hi, Kate.
Hey,
Okay,
nice to see you. Minnie,
good.
did you get a chance to look at the
No, I didn't have time. I just quickly skimmed through. It looked like all the sections filled in, but I didn't go into detail, look at each session and all that.
we are trying to make sure that we get that input. So if you have time to take a look at the basically not only the way that it looks, and thank you, Chris, for for adding your information there and what you saw.
Welcome.
But if you see like, like this tool, I know for a fact it doesn't work, or this tool is actually really good for this, that would be great.
Yeah.
So it's 11:34. Cool. All right, we're getting some people on.
Yeah.
How you feeling there, Sasha?
Yeah, so much better. Thank you, Kate. It was a rough blue, that one. Thanks,
How long were you sick for?
like 2 days.
2 days?
Nailed me. Yeah,
Yeah.
it nailed me. Started on the weekend, and then I thought, no, this is not a cold. This is something worse. Thanks.
Anne
I've
Marie,
been
did you
working.
get a chance?
Hmm,
What's that, Sasha?
Sorry. No, sorry, you finish. It's cool.
Oh, I was just gonna, did you get a chance, Anne Marie, to take a look at things and to
No,
get other people input by any chance and what they thought?
no.
No, I know it's a, not only that, it's a holiday here in the States, so it's been and people going back to school and all these other busy activities that we have.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. We're trying to close up on a major release in the next few weeks, so it's a lot right now.
Ah, that's basically today was about reviewing hey Tracy. So Tracy, we were just talking about, was actually just about to say that I think today's meeting, we were just going to, I don't know if actually, now that you jumped on, we got some information, some feedback about the site, Tracy, which with Chris that we haven't implemented yet, but basically, I think we just want to make sure that the tools that we have are good tools, or, you know, let's say they're bad tools. That would be something that I would ask people to review. And that would probably be the most important thing. Also looking at any sort of punctuation, you know, as we look at the website, and Roxanne did put down some, I think some pretty good content you can see in GitHub listed as issues, which I think should be implemented. But overall, we're trying to really get this content solidified before the beginning of October so that we can start to push it out. And so, and Tracy, unless you have something else to say, I think that's probably should be our go forward. And I know that people have been really busy, especially as we end summer and as people start to transition. I think we can do one of two things. As information comes in, we can, I could actually create GitHub issues, and maybe we can just start knocking them off as the issues are created, or we can, that's probably the best way.
That should be the ongoing way. This is now a living document, so it should never not have GitHub issues. And so if it doesn't, because it means nobody's looking at it.
Okay.
So yes, that is the way forward. We have a goal of doing a proper release, an announcement by October 1st. I have a presentation on September 25th with DevOps Experience. That is going to be, it's around the secure software development framework, and I'm going to introduce the guide as part of that. And then we should do an official rollout come October. So it is what it is. We have done a massive amount of work. If you haven't looked at it, every category has data in it now. There are some changes because I did a lot of it, and I realized that doing some of it. So let me share it just for a minute so we can see what needs to be worked on. I'm just going to share my screen. Yeah. Okay, so we started up. Can everybody see it?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So we started out here with code and pre-build. And if you look at, if we start at like PO, if you notice that the tasks are actually broken down pretty granular into the different levels of protect the organization, including 3.1, 3.2, and 3.2. So everything was highly organized. When I started working on it, I was like, this is a lot of work. I'm gonna cheat because I felt like I needed to get the content in there. And what I started doing was doing it at a higher level. So here's PO 1.1 and 1.2. And then I did PO2, which has 2.1, 2.2, and 2.3 in it. So I didn't break it down as granular. And I tried to give a narrative about what the requirement was and what you needed to focus on to satisfy that. And then I just put it all in, like in this section, 1.1 and 1.2 is in the same. I didn't try to break out if Open Policy Agent satisfies 1.1 or 1.2, because what I learned was we have a lot of redundancy. When you really start digging into it, many of these, like Trivy is pretty awesome in all these areas, is what I learned from doing this. And we'd have Trivy everywhere, Trivy, over and over and over, and it got too redundant. So I think that if folks are not happy with this and somebody wants to go through and try to read each one of these and kind of and go, we're going to break it down into these sub levels, that's fine. Or we need to go back up into code and pre-build and maybe do it just a little bit of cleanup work in some of these areas so that it's not so granular. But right now, I don't think it matters that it's built like this. It's fine. I'm okay with moving forward as it is. But if somebody wants to go through and clean it up, that's okay too.
And,
It
and so am
doesn't
I,
matter.
and I'll tell you from a, I'm sorry, Tracy, I don't, so I agree with what, absolutely with what you're saying. And furthermore, that when you're dealing with, when you have to deal with auditors and things like this, the most important thing is that you have a tool that you can identify to say, hey, this is why I have this tool and this is what it's meeting. It's this documentation, right? It's that we're trying to not just be a checkbox, but, and I think the fewer tools that we have, the less vulnerabilities, quite frankly, you're going to have, because you're not going to have all these tools that also bring in additional vulnerabilities, right? It's so important right now that we start. I'm not talking just with this, but really from a cybersecurity point of view, that we have tools out there and we're just not using them to help us.
So when
And
I had Steve review this, his biggest complaint is you have the tools listed, but you don't tell me what they do. So
what
I
about
started,
after the bottom?
right,
Yeah. Oh, you just, okay.
see, like up here, it says,
Yeah.
here's GitHub, but we don't have a subtitle that says, here's what this tool does and how it actually achieves it. So if you look at when I started working on this, if we look at some of this area, I try to indicate what the focus should be and how to satisfy this PO.1 area. And then for every tool, I try to say what it did to satisfy that area.
Yeah, that's really helpful.
And Tracy,
And
I
when
think
we
I did
first started this, we
RV.
didn't get that feedback. We didn't have anybody looking at it. When Steve looked at it from a kind of a fresh eye, he was like, you need to say what the tools do. And I think I did that for every one of these. I spent about, close to 2 weeks writing this stuff. So most of it's done. It's a lot of it's done in each one of these areas. And I had Steve look through these and he didn't see anything that he thought was totally wrong. He had some changes that he had recommended, and all of the post-deployment now is done, all the way down to respond to vulnerabilities. All that's all done. So the stuff that I worked on independently after I realized, after Steve gave me some feedback and I kind of sat down and just cranked through it in August. That's why I wasn't going to meetings. I was like, I am going to hide and just write and get this stuff done. You should use the tools. And I feel like if we, to do outreach for this, I would almost say that the next thing to do once we feel it's comfortable and we like the format is we could do a blog on every single one of these topics. We could go deeper into this kind of a section and write what the goal is from a CI/CD perspective and post-deployment, for example. And then we would then refer back to this page and have the CDF publish it for us. I think it will it'll get it a lot of backlinks, and it will provide a lot of information for people who are looking at achieving the SSDF. So that's my thought, is that we should move forward getting it released, and we should start thinking about doing blogs for this, because that gives us like 16 blogs in each of these areas. Those are my thoughts. And
Totally.
if we want to keep these here the way they are, the data is in them is accurate. There's probably other tooling that could be in here. I was amazed when I started researching tooling. I was amazed the number of open source projects that are working on solving this problem. Like some of the stuff I'd never heard of. Many of it I had, but some things I had never heard of.
And that in itself would be a blog right there.
Yeah, exactly. And I might do one writing the, assisting in, something like writing the cybersecurity guide. because there are a lot of tools out there. There's a ton of tools that are really doing a pretty good job of trying to, solve some of these problems. What was one that there was a couple I had, Basil. I'd never heard of this one before. This thing that enforces security build rules. I thought it was really fascinating. And this, I've heard a lot about like salsa, but this one I had never heard of, and I've had fun kind of checking it out and really looking to see what it does. So there's so much information that we're pulling together here. I feel like we're creating a really, really, really decent service. So let's start getting the word out, because most of it's written. And I do know what we should be, if we can get the word out and we can get some of the open source teams, if I could go through a way of looking through all of this and reaching out to every single one of the open source projects and say, hey, you're being listed in this. We'd love for you to, jump in, add what your tool can do to meet these. Because like trivia is in multiple places, which is totally fine. But I bet there could be more that's said about it, right? They could probably say more about what their tool does to solve these areas.
It's a great idea.
So it was a very good learning experience for me, let me tell you. I worked some late nights doing it because there's a lot of research that went into it. But I learned a lot. There's so many tools out there that are being written, and I feel like they're not being adopted at the rate they should be because people can't keep up. And not all of them are part of the OpenSSF or even part of the Linux Foundation. A lot of them come from Apache. There's some that are just private. Yeah, there's a lot out there that we could be talking about. And I feel like if we can get, if we just took like this list and reached out to the open source communities for each one of them and say, hey, did you know you're listed in this? We'd love to get your feedback and more information about how your tool solves this problem. I know if somebody reached out to Ortelius like that, I would be all over it. I know all of the Ortelius people here would be all over it.
The other thing too, Tracy, Chris is going to work on a landscape. The landscape for the tools that, do you know what I'm talking about? Like how they have
yeah. Just make sure it doesn't turn in. It could get, so the problems with the landscape, because I wrote the landscape for the CDF. The problem is figuring out the categories.
Okay.
So what I would suggest, Chris, is that you come up first with what the category should be. Let me just see if that'll pull it up. And I still don't like the categories that these landscapes are in. So we're talking about this first one up here is CI and pipeline orchestration. And then you have continuous automation, coding and library management. Why Ortelius is in there, I don't know, and Deploy Hub is too. Because we're managing libraries, that's one of the things we do. I don't even think there's a security group in here anymore, right? There's DevSecOps, and I should probably push to get Ortelius, and I think I will get these two out of there. But it's hard, the groups are hard. This part is hard to do. So I think in order to get the landscape written, what we have to do is we have to go back to, there is some mapping between SSDF and CISA. What do they call it?
Are you talking about CNF?
What is it? What is it called? Or NIST?
NIST CSF. NIST CSF, I think.
We need a map, and I think that there's been one done by the OpenSSF is working on one that does a mapping. We need to look at their map. We can come up with those high-level groupings to create the landscape. Because once we have that, then the landscape becomes super easy, but it's super hard to figure out what those groupings are going to be. Chris, if you have some ideas on that, that would be awesome. But we should probably reach out to. Let me see if I can remember the name of the project. It is, I just talked to these people and I can't remember the name of it. Baseline, I think it's this.
Okay.
This might be it, Baseline. Aligned with internet frameworks, and they're trying to align it with Cray as well. So this group of people, you might join this project and let them know what we're trying to do. And I bet they may have already written a mapping between these, the Cyber Resiliency Act, the NIST Act, and the Secure Software Development Framework.
Okay.
So they're trying to do that. And I bet they would love to find out we're trying to create a framework or a landscape that we can add to the guide.
And Chris, if you need some help with that, let me know. If you
Yeah, I made an introduction.
Best way I'm happy to introduce you to any of these folks here, but the best way is just to go ahead and join the project.
Okay.
Everybody's welcome to join, and you can just introduce yourself to say this is who you are. So the GitHub is here, and I think you can just join. There's got to be a way here. I get added to all of these because I'm on the board. So it's easy for me, so I can't tell you how I was added because they just add you. There should be something in here.
Okay.
And if not, I will complain and say, hey, you guys, you got to make it easier to join the group. And you're going to have to join it just like you did through the CI, this group. You're going to have to go through the Linux Foundation's website to get on the list.
Okay.
That's weird. They don't have a description on how to join. I'll make a note to complain about, or to not complain. I never complain. Oh, here we go. Here is the calendar. Oh, it just shows my calendar. Yes, right. Well, there's all the meetings for it, but no, that's not what you're looking for. But anyway, this is it. This is the team you should get. It's kind of weird they got this warning on their site. Oops. Well, let's see if the website has a place to join. I don't see anything that says join the group. There it is right there. Here's the list. Let me see if I can copy that and put it in the, I'll put it in the chat.
Okay.
Is
Why
anybody
they
who's,
make it so
wants
small?
I don't know. I have no
It looks
idea.
like they're trying to stop you from unsubscribing to a newsletter, like in your email. So
It
small.
looks like it does. It looks like an unsubscribe, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's so tiny, like hiding it away from you so you can't.
But that's where you should go for it. I'm pretty sure. You have to subscribe to this list. And it doesn't even take you anywhere. That doesn't even do you any good. Weird. I will reach out to Krobe. And Chris, do I have your proper email so I can just do an intro that way? And I'm going to say, Krobe, some of our team would like to join your team, but we couldn't figure out how.
Yeah, hang on. Let me type it in the chat for you. It's like, okay.
Because if we get them and helping us build that the landscape, which I think will be really awesome to have, they'll be more invested in us being successful as well. And you can download the code for this stuff for building these landscapes. You don't have to do it from scratch.
Okay.
To build it isn't easy because I think it is compiled, as I recall. But you can get it, and I'm guessing if you went to, let me see if it's on. Let me see if the landscape is already out there. See, get CDF artwork best practices site. I would look in Git under the CDF and see if there's the stuff for the landscape. Download it and see if you can build that as it is. And once you can do that, then you can start. Then you'll see how all the categories are updated.
Okay.
It's not straightforward. I had the luxury of being able to work with Dan Coates before he passed away, who wrote it. So it was easier for me, and Steve picked up on some of the stuff that we couldn't, that Dan himself, who wrote it, couldn't figure out what was happening. But I think it's simplified now. I know that the CNCF landscape, that thing is a beast, and it's been updated, and it's a bit more complicated. Let me share that. Because it's so big, I don't think you want to copy this one. It's insane. It's literally dying on the weight of itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that any one of these goes into a different area. Maybe not. Maybe it's the same code, but I would start with the CNCF, the CDFs. It's smaller and it's going to look more like what we're doing, I think. But you can have as many groups as you want
Okay.
in it. And you can have as many logos in it as you want. Yeah, that's weird. And the landscape will be a whole new release that we'll be able to do, right? We'll be able to do a whole discussion around the landscape alone.
Yeah.
It would be kind of cool if let me go back to the guide for a minute, share it. If in the guide, where's our landscape? Where's ours? Let me just go back to, if the landscape was available from here, but in the security guide, in code, like if we went to code and pre-build under right here at introduction, there was a link to the landscape for that category. So if we just did these 3 categories in the landscape, that it would be a really good starting place. But I have a feeling that the people over at the OpenSSF will have a different way of seeing the security groupings, which we probably need to follow.
Okay.
But it would be cool to have a link to that category in each of the introduction pages, so somebody could go directly to it as if they were going into our landscape, and then in that landscape you could it would link back to here if you wanted more information. So it was more interactive with the data, as opposed to just a place to see, like if we go back here, we click on that.
Okay. I have a question though. Like, should I use the same repo as the one you showed me before, or should we start a new one?
You mean from the CDF?
Yep.
Yeah, use this. So we have our own repo. So what I would do is I would bring it down from the CDF's website, make sure you can build it. And then I would bring it over, copy everything over into a different directory that would be able to be checked in as a new repo for the CI/CD Cybersecurity SIG.
Okay.
So it's our own. Yeah, I wouldn't use theirs.
Okay. Do we have a new one yet, or are we
No.
gonna start a new one?
I can create I'll create a new repo for you.
Cool. Thanks.
Let me do this. Let me create a new repo for you, and let me bring down the CDF landscape, and I'll check it in so it's in there for you to work on.
Okay. Awesome.
All right. I will get that done today.
Yep. Thanks.
So I think that what we should talk about for our next meeting is what we want to start doing for October's rollout. Basically, September 25th, I have an opportunity to announce the CI/CD cybersecurity guide, and I'm going to announce it. But we should have a full schedule for October and how we're going to do it. At minimum, we need to get a blog out there. So if anybody wants to write a blog about it, that would be great. So Roxanne can take it from there. She'll do the editing and all the fun stuff to get it in the CDF and start pushing it out. And probably we should look at doing it, you know, somewhere close to October 1st, which would be a Wednesday. Wednesdays are auspicious days to do things, so that's a perfect day, October 1st.
I'm in. I'll do something. I'll write a blog.
Okay, great. And if the idea of if anybody wants to start writing blogs on any of the particular topics, I might take one on for some of the areas in post-deployment or code or build and deploy, since those are my areas of expertise. I have a lot less experience in the code and pre-build, but plenty in the other two areas. So I might take one of those on, because I think we could, if we did, if we have 16 blogs, we could do our first one like October 1st, do another one October 22nd. So we could have a cadence for the next, say, 6 months of 2 blogs a month on the different topics. And that's a good cadence for getting the word out, because right now we just have to get the word out. And then I think that we probably have some opportunity to do some, I think we should really work on the Jenkins community on this topic. We should really be pounding them because they are one of the largest CI/CD communities and they are in the CDF. So potentially starting to get those meetups going. I know that Kate and Jude, you guys have been working on getting those together. So it seems to me like a good time to do it.
Definitely. Yeah.
And then let's just, in the next month, let's just get as much cleanup work done as we feel is needed and make sure you've reviewed it. And if there's something that's wrong, as Kate, you pointed out, let's get it edited and cleaned up and ready for an October 1st run. I think it's exciting. I think it's really exciting.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is exciting.
And Tracy, oh, sorry, Emery, please.
Oh no, I say it is exciting. Also, I did one useful thing during this half hour. I advertised it to my network. So there you go.
Yay,
Asking
thank
for
you.
reviews from Red Hatters. Yes.
Definitely your Tecton folks, they should be, if you know that anybody there, let them know that if we've missed Tecton in any of the categories, I've been trying to make sure we were looking at all of the Linux Foundation tools as close as possible, but I know that I missed some of the OpenSSF tools. I just didn't have time to go through them all.
Yeah, I'll directly tag a couple of the Tecton contributors. Yep.
Nice. And I know, Tracy, when I presented to the board, they were, I don't know if you had any feedback from Michelle or about
I
the
haven't
presentation.
talked to anybody about it, no.
Okay. I think it was, I think it was well received. And who's the gentleman from Apple on the board?
The DC?
Yeah.
The DC?
He even said that he would be interested in participating. So, in some fashion.
Well, we have the framework now done, so it'll be a lot easier for people to participate, I think.
Yeah. Cool.
Even just getting the word out, just sharing it amongst their, their group. And I plan on doing quite a bit of it, sharing it out. I've got like 12,000 followers, so I will wait until the official release to do that. But I have shared it, I shared it out with like, Andrea knows about it, so he could take a look at it. There were a few other people I said, just take a look at it and give me feedback. So far, Steve is the only one who did it. And he read through it quite well. I was like, he spent an afternoon going through it and giving me feedback.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's really, really kind. Then can you ask anybody from Fidelity Investments to take a look?
Yes. I'll reach out to Ed and see whether he can take a look at as well.
Yeah, just let him know if there's anything he wants us to update, or if there's a concern, just create a GitHub issue, and then we'll take a look at them and try to resolve them.
Okay.
All right. All right, great. Thanks, guys. Are we good?
We good?
We're good. It's gonna be a fun October. I really think that
Yes.
getting the word out will be a lot more fun than writing it, because, you know, when I started doing it, I really underestimated how much work it is.
Tracy,
It
you
is
are
a really
amazing.
challenge.
Thank you.
Yes.
I
cheers.
just I took it as an opportunity to learn as much as I can, since people quiz me about this stuff, and I just said, okay, I'm blocking my calendar. I'm going to research this stuff. I'm going to know it inside and out before anybody asks me a question about it. And if I can't remember it, it'll be in the doc.
Perfect.
All right. Thank you all.
All right, guys.
Hey.
Hi.